All right, we'll try this again. I tested it, so it is working. So y'all should hear me. I mean, I tested it the last time too, but I did I did a little recording, posted it, made sure you guys could hear me. So now you should be able to hear me, y'all. As you guys jump in, please let me know that you can. I'm not going to do any important talking until someone tells me they can hear me. All right. We'll have to wait for everybody to get logged back in. But I will talk to those of you who are watching this on replay. So if you're watching this on replay, whether in our Facebook group or on YouTube, when you guys watch it on replay, all right, if you guys end up having any questions, don't put them in the comments on this video because I don't come back and check these. All right, I record these videos for you guys and then I don't look at this video again. All right. It goes into my archive. But if you do have questions about anything we talked about on the video, or you have another question and you're just not ever able to make it live, the best way to get your questions answered is to join our Facebook group, Money, Tax, and Finance for Small Business Owners. Join that group, and when we post these weekly events, this week's didn't get posted till a day or two ahead, but we try to post them, the event itself, like the weekend before. So if you find the event, you can leave comments there, all right? And you can leave your question there. And then when I log into these, about a half hour, 45 minutes before I come and join you guys, I log in there and I jump on the event and I see if there's any questions that people want answered. So that is the best place if you're watching this on replay or if you can't make it live for you to post your questions so that you can get them answered. Another great resource we have is our YouTube page. If you head over to our YouTube channel, our YouTube page, Bree, come on now. Our YouTube channel, we post a bunch of videos. We're on a hiatus right now, but we'll get back to posting weekly. And there is a ton of content on there with quick answers to very specific questions. So the videos are each like 5 to 10 minutes long typically, and they answer very specific one question, single questions. So that's another really good resource for you guys if you have questions and can't make it to our live Q&As. I see people jumping in and jumping out. As you jump in, guys, let me know you can hear me. I put it in the comments, but last time someone couldn't hear me. I jumped out, I tested it, so there is no reason y'all should not be able to hear me now. But I do want to make sure. I don't want to sit here and talk for a half hour if nobody can hear me. You'll see change of scenery this week. I am at home. We are dog sitting. We have new neighbors, and we're watching their dog today, and Travis had to leave. So I was like, oh, I'll stay. I'll work from home and take calls at home. And so that's what I'm doing. So it's funny because my house looks clean and it's not. I just shoved everything over there. Yeah. So, all right, people are jumping in. I assume you guys can hear me because you're not leaving. So fingers crossed. So you guys, this weekly updates and Q&A, okay, first and foremost, it is Q&A for you guys. So if you have questions, please, please, please go ahead. Ooh, I almost spilled my water. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments. That is always my number one item on my agenda is to answer the questions for those of you that are here live. I do not have any questions from people. As I was mentioning, if you missed the very beginning, if you guys are watching this on replay or you just can't catch it live, you guys can go to our Facebook group, Money, Tax, and Finances for Small Business. Find the next event that is upcoming. We usually try to post them about a week in advance, and you can post your questions there. All right, so let me start with a few updates, okay? If you guys, there should be in the description a few links for you guys. One, we are going to talk about some electric car credits today because I had some questions last week on that. So there's a link there that we'll talk about. The other one is the IRS operations during COVID-19. This is a really good resource to kind of figure out if you're trying to communicate with the IRS, whether it's you've filed a return and you don't know if it's been filed, if you have submitted a response to a request, all right, to an examination or an audit request or a document request, this kind of tells you where they are. They are behind. They are slow and behind, and this kind of gives you an idea of where they are. So they give updates on this last one. The last update being made November 5th on filing a tax return. So just some quick updates to expect there. And the reason I bring this up, you guys, is because we do have a lot of clients who we are working with or working for to try to resolve some issues with the IRS. And we're having a darn time, all right? And it is tough. Getting a hold of the IRS right now is a task. So it's almost like a crapshoot right now. If you have to call them, and mailing stuff and expecting them to deal with it that way is taking forever. All right, so be patient. If whether it's us or you have another CPA or tax preparer that you have trying to get a hold of the IRS, please be patient with them. They're not full of it. Like, it is daunting right now trying to get a hold of the IRS. All right, and it's even worse for taxpayers. So because tax practitioners have a separate line. We have a tax practitioner line that we can call, and for normal taxpayers, like the normal IRS line, apparently I took a training last week and the statistic was less than 2% of calls are being answered. All right. So I don't know what the statistic is for the practitioner's line, but I'm not sure it's much higher than that. So be patient there. So there have been a few updates the IRS has released this last week, and so I want to talk about those real quick. So first, the IRS has announced that they are increasing the 401k limit in 2022. Okay, 2022. So that's something to keep in mind. For 2021, it's going to be $19,500 still, but in 2022, they're going to tack on another $1,000. So the 401k limit increase is going to be $20,500 for 2022. All right. What else do we have? So I'm still getting a lot of people who have questions about this advanced child tax care credit payment, that have been set up, that have potentially been happening since July. They go through December. There is an FAQ that I did not put in the description, but I will drop it here. Child credit FAQ. There you go. So let's see. So guys, this is just, we've talked a lot about this over the last few weeks in terms of those prepayments that y'all may be getting for the 2021 child tax credit. So that FAQ may be able to help you. If you have more questions, I'm here. I'm happy to answer them. That's why we are here every Thursday. And the other thing that came out this week is that the IRS has adjusted the tax brackets for 2022 for inflation. This happens every year. The tax brackets adjust, and it's news because they've adjusted a little more for 2022 than they typically do. So so that's that. So let's talk real quick about this infrastructure plan that is still not a thing. It is passed half of Congress, but is still waiting to pass the other half. So what we care about in that, though, guys, is there anything that deals with income tax, right? That's what we care about. Because this infrastructure bill is huge. There's a ton in it. But what do we care about, right? So there are a few things. There are a few things related to income tax that we do care about, or could care about if they actually pass it. You guys know my stance if you've been here before, that until something is actually passed and made into, has passed and is actually made into a law, I'm very hesitant to talk about it. Because I can't tell you how many times we talk about something that's potential, a bill that might, and then we talk about things, and then things we spend time talking about don't end up passing in the final bill. All right, so we're not going to dig into it a lot, but we are going to touch on what might be in this, so you can kind of just keep that in the back of your head. Okay, so one of the things they want to do is increase the reporting required for cryptocurrency transactions. And the other big thing that we care about in terms of income tax is that this bill, as it stands now, which keep in mind, was written back in August. Okay, that's how long it's been sitting here. But in August, they wrote this bill and had a piece in it that wanted to terminate the employee retention credit earlier than planned. So right now, the employee retention credit is set to go through the end of 2021 for all qualifying employers. This infrastructure plan actually was written to stop as of September 30th with a few exceptions. All right. It will be very interesting to see if they actually pass this retroactively, right? Again, they wrote this in August saying we're going to end the employee retention credit September 30th instead of December 31st. And I think they probably planned on passing that bill long before that September 30th new cutoff date came around. We are now in the middle of November. And what a mess, and what a mess if they end up passing this retroactive change. I mean, it would have been a mess anyway because some people got advanced tax credits. So hopefully they drop this out of there. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. Okay, so last week, you guys, we had some questions about electric cars. And I was hesitant to talk about it because it had been so long since I dealt with electric cars that I didn't know if things had changed. Nothing has changed. Okay. So on the federal level, new all electric cars and plug-in hybrid vehicles can qualify for a federal tax credit of up to $7,500. So what do they mean up to, right? Like am I going to get the full 7,500 or am I not? Well, I have put a link in the comments, in the description, above or below, depending on where you're watching this, that shows the current credit value for each type of electric car that qualifies. This is fantastic. I just happened to fall upon it this morning because I knew that. So you guys, it's $7,500 for an electric vehicle that qualifies, and all of the qualifying vehicles are on this list. However, each I don't want to say maker, each manufacturer, there's a limit. So if you happen to be on here and you open up that link, you scroll down, the first one you see is that General Motors. And you see that it says General vehicles purchased after 3/31/2020 are not eligible for these tax credits. And what that means, so that's the Cadillacs, the Chevy Volt, the Chevy Bolt, the Chevy Spark. Those, you can still go buy them, but you are not going to get any federal tax credit for doing so, because those manufacturers have already, each manufacturer was given a certain amount of credit to qualify, like that taxpayers could qualify for. And Chevy or General Motors has used up their credit. Their previous buyers have used up all of that credit so far. The other big one is Tesla. I believe, let me look at the date. Tesla's bought after 12/31/19, no longer qualified for the credit. And if you happen to have that fueleconomy.gov open, you'll see that from 1/1/10 to 12/31/18, Tesla buyers got the full $7,500 credit. And for the first half of 19, they only got a $3,750 credit. And then from July 1st, 19 to 12/31/19, they only got $1,875 credit. All right. So it goes down. So if you're buying an electric car and you're not set on a certain make or model, check this out to see what kind of federal credit you qualify for. Keep in mind, states have additional tax credits available. I'm in Colorado, and in Colorado, it's up to a $2,500 credit with your state income tax refund. And those state credits, and I don't know how every state works because I've done electric car purchases in probably 5 states over the last however many years, mostly Colorado. I've done a few other states. But in Colorado, when you buy from a dealer, they can actually apply that state credit to your purchase and give you the credit at purchase time. And so then you wouldn't worry about dealing with it on your tax return. So yeah, so that's that. Let's see. So we talked about electric cars. If you have any more questions about that, definitely post it, put it in the chat. Let's see. It doesn't look like I have any other questions so far. All right. There's a few of you hanging in there. So again, if you guys have questions, go ahead and post them in the comments. And I will peek. Okay. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Paula. Hi, Paula. So Paula says, gotta get above it. Our Q2 2021 ERTC refund check was stolen in the mail in July. Ugh. Talked to IRS business lines several times and with no help. Gave me tax advocate telephone number with, oh, dang it, with no luck getting through, on hold forever, and then it hangs up. Do you have any advice on it? That is tough. Wow, it was stolen. Because the tax advocate number is always the route we end up advising or being advised as tax preparers as well when we're having issues with the IRS. And I have not had to deal with the tax advocacy group since COVID. I'm trying to think if I had any interaction with them early in COVID. I haven't had to because usually they're very helpful. Usually they're very helpful, very quick, very fast to respond. But I have not had to utilize their help since COVID. And I'm guessing just like it seems like every other system or every other department that exists, they're probably understaffed. So unfortunately, oh, Paula, unfortunately, I have a feeling that you talking or, getting help from the tax advocate is going to be just like people trying to get a hold of the IRS. Congrats on getting a hold of the IRS. I know that sounds terrible, but man, people cannot get into them either. Is just keep trying. I cannot remember what the tax advocacy hours are, but I believe first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening tend to be the best times to try to get, to actually get a hold of someone. But I can't remember what their hours are because again, it's been a while since I've had to deal with them. So, but the IRS turned you to the tax advocacy support line, or I don't want to say group because they're not a group, department, which is that's the right way for you to go. It's just now is rough. So still, and I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. And it's no. I mean, if the IRS can't do anything, so I guess that's my question. Why? I'm wondering why the IRS couldn't cancel the check unless it's already been cashed. Maybe that was the issue? Because other times when checks get lost in the mail, they cancel it and they reissue a new one. So I'm guessing, is that correct, Paula, that your issue is that the check has already been cashed and so they can't cancel it? Yeah. So sorry, I'm not any more help there. Like just anything that has to do with dealing with the IRS right now is it's rough. Excuse me. So, interesting though. So we kind of a side note. So we got our federal income tax refund this week. So, I filed my tax return on October 15th. You know what? I'm busy doing everyone else's. I didn't do my own. So I filed it then. We set our return up for direct deposit as we've always done. We've always done direct deposit. They mailed us a check. So that was weird. That was weird. And then when my husband went to go deposit the check, so he went to do it on our mobile app. And I think we have like a $30,000, limit. So, but then as soon as he put the check in, there's a button that says, is this an IRS check? And as soon as you click yes, he was no longer allowed to mobile deposit it. So I'm guessing it sounds like banks are starting to take a few precautions to prevent depositing stolen or fraudulent checks. Obviously, that does not help you in this case, Paula, but I do appreciate that it seems like some steps are being taken on the banking side to help alleviate this issue going forward. So yeah. So what else do we got, guys? I went through my updates. Let me make sure I got everything. So we talked We talked about the potential infrastructure. We talked about electric cars. We talked about the IRS updates. Okay. Paula says they are not really talking. I did file a form 3911 taxpayer statement regarding refund in September, so we'll see. Yeah. So and then Paula, they're also the IRS is also trying to they're trying to update how they're able to communicate, right? Because right now, when you send or any documents to the IRS, you mail it or you fax it. All right, and they're trying to get into get in line with the 21st century. However, I think it's really tough for them because they also want to make sure your taxpayer information is protected, right? And doing things online always opens up potential for cyber issues. So I'm curious as to how the reason I brought that up is I'm just curious as to how you filed that form 3911. Did you mail it? Did you fax it? Did they have another method that they allowed you to use? Just curious. So I know we got a late start this morning, guys, because of technical difficulties, but I don't have anything left outstanding. I don't see fax. Okay, that's good, Paula. Faxed is the best way because mailing stuff right now just doesn't get done. So good. At least hopefully faxing it will speed it up a little bit. Fingers crossed. All right, y'all. So I don't see any other questions in the chat. I don't have any other updates for this week. So I will see you guys next week. And then I will not see you on Thanksgiving. I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be with my family. So I will see you guys next week. And then when I meet with you guys next week, I will let you know what the schedule is for the holidays because it's not going to be every week. I know we're going to be meeting, and I'll let you know what other weeks we will not be meeting. So until then, one more quick reminder: if you come up with questions that you want answered, first head on over to my YouTube channel and see if we happen to have a video on your question that answers it. If not, head over to our Facebook group, Money, Tax, and Finances for Small Business. Find next week's event. It should be posted by this weekend, and post your question there, and I will answer it next week. All right. Until then, you guys have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.